Welcome to Investors Insights. Our topic today is high anxiety. We chose that topic because right now there's so much news out there, a lot of tension, anxiety throughout this country and in the markets, which is causing some of the high emotions, volatility, and we thought we would address that. You're talking China-U.S. trade wars, all the discussion on impeachment. Let me say this, is that at Five Plan Partners, we've always said that anxiety is worry with anticipation. And if you look at our information, if you read my book, you will see that we also, in working with a financial blueprint and also matching that up with market performance, we like to say that anxieties are those events that 9 times out of 10 will never occur once you have the knowledge that gives you confidence to confront the fear. In the environment we're in, and folks, it's probably going to continue for a while in this political going into the election year, we are going to have high anxiety. And the best thing you can do is get the knowledge that gives you confidence about your portfolio, your goals, and if you're on track. Now, with that said, and I know I'm older here at the table, I used to say, when we got newspapers, that the real headlines were on the back pages of the newspaper. Today, the same applies as you're looking on your iPad or however you get your news. And on that thought, Bobby, you pounded on the table and said things look a lot better than what people are recognizing.
Right, it's hard to believe that we're just over 50 days away from Christmas and the holidays. So the consumer spending, who's counting though, right?
My wallet just went like that.
Yeah, and so the consumer spending, it's usually in the holiday season is November 1st through December 31st. Sales are expected to increase 4% from last year. Here's something to think about last year. The stock market was in a nasty pullback during last year's holiday season. People might have not spent as much as they probably would.
Fourth quarter last year was nasty.
Yeah, and so hopefully the market will continue its strength and the consumers will feel strong going into retail sales. Again, that's huge. We talk about it all the time. 70% of our economy is a consumer. We're heading into retail sales holiday season. That's a big number, something that we watch out for.
Yeah, people are spending money. And then also, let me say this, they're spending money which goes towards the earnings of corporations. Everybody agree with me here?
Absolutely.
And earnings reflect market prices.
That's right.
Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
So there's a lot of strength there as we go into last 50 days.
Yep.
Thank you,
That's
Bobby
coming.
Norman, for that bit of information. So, and with that, Adam, you also chimed in, said, I totally agree with Bobby. Why is that?
Yeah, we're seeing an evolving retail market right now. If you're looking at it, they're starting sales out 30 days in advance. That hasn't been the case in the past. You see Black Friday be a big point of emphasis.
Right.
So that's starting to evolve in the market. October jobs number was up. It crushed estimates, up 128,000 compared to 75,000. Leisure and hospitality led the race. So that was mostly due to the food and beverage, thanks to football and tailgating.
Or at least in Alabama, we would like to.
We like to think that we held that number up. Now, one lag you might see is manufacturing. A lot of that is due to one company going on strike. So we want to point that out because a lot of people are worried about the manufacturing industry right now. Unemployment is still hovering around a 50-year low. So, to your point, we're seeing a lot of people save more money because more people have jobs. And they're going back to the markets and putting the money back into the markets.
Yeah.
So that's a really big thing.
Sure, and you mentioned on Black Friday, which everybody watches, but people are starting to spend money online now faster in advance of the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's important to look at these jobs numbers because of the last 2 months, they've had revisions. And these revisions are upwards to 51,000, 44,000 accordingly.
That's good. That's great confidence. Did you have something, Trey?
Yeah, I was just going to say, people having jobs, making money, love to see them spending, love to see them investing. All that is great and how the economy and the market goes up.
Yeah, very much so. And then actually, you brought about confidence.
Yes.
So here we are with a vlog talking about high anxiety. Talk about the confidence numbers that IBD, Investors Business Daily, put out in a Gallup poll.
Oh, absolutely. The Gallup poll basically says people are not worried about job components at all. They're not worried about their benefits being cut. They're not worried about their jobs being sent overseas. They're not worried about being laid off. They're not worried about technology taking the job. And what Greg is referring to is that Gallup poll basically said, are you worried about it? Well, for example, in one category, 23% said, I'm not worried about my benefits being cut. All those numbers are there or lower.
Right.
Historically, they've never been like that, either singularly or collectively.
Sure.
People are just not worried. They're working and spending.
Right, and the economy's moving forward.
Absolutely.
And so there is a lot of noise. And those that latch onto it, it can create the high anxiety.
Absolutely.
With that said, the facts are showing us, and we look at things both fundamentally, which is looking at earnings, technically, market movements, and at this point, we're still seeing strength in the markets. And then the world is changing in another way from an international standpoint. Talk to us about Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, now, let me start by saying I'm not recommending or buying or selling of this information or this on this
Full
company.
disclosure.
Full disclosure. This isn't a recommendation, but we found it interesting this weekend. Saudi Arabia announced that they're effectively taking the country public. Saudi Aramco, the oil and gas company that produces the profits over there in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is going to go public in December, and that is indicative of confidence in the markets to accept what likely will be the largest public offering in history. A country, a kingdom, is kind of going public. I'm not sure. It's a very diverse area, but most of the money in that area, in that region, comes from Saudi Aramco, and they're selling it to the market. So that tells us that possibly they're saying now's a good time to be in the market.
Yeah, very much so. And prior to elections and everything
Right,
else
yeah.
here in the United States.
Yeah, you definitely want to get ahead of that 2020 because there's a lot of risk if you're Saudi Arabia of what might happen in the politics, and like you said, the emotion, people will overreact it.
Right. So on that note, go back and watch our last vlogs because October was a great month when normally historically it's volatile. We're in November, the high anxiety is there, but keep up with the knowledge, keep up with the facts. We want you to have confidence. We want to keep you updated. And also, if you match up a financial blueprint with your portfolio performance, it lets you know if you're on track despite all the noise that's out there that you're listening to. We wanted to share these thoughts. If you know of someone that's experiencing high anxiety, please forward this vlog to them. Follow us on social media. We're frustrated educators and we like to give information. We like debate and discussion, as evident by the fact when our clients call in or we call them in emails. We want to make sure that we address the issues and back it up with facts. Have a great week as we go into November. Start that Christmas shopping, I guess, holiday season. Bobby says we've only got 50 days. Have a great week.